The story of David and Goliath. Long ago, in the ancient land of Israel, two armies faced each other across a deep valley. The Israelites on one hill and the Philistines on the other. Between them lay silence, heavy, tense, and waiting. Every morning, the quiet was broken by the thunder of footsteps. Out from the Philistine camp came a giant, Goliath. He was nearly 10 feet tall, covered head to toe in bronze armor that gleamed under the sun. His spear was so large it looked more like a tree trunk. Day after day, Goliath shouted across the valley. "Send me a man to fight," he roared. "If he defeats me, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us." The Israelites trembled. No one dared to face him, not even King Saul, their tallest and bravest warrior, had the courage to step forward. For 40 days, Goliath mocked them, and hope began to fade. But far away from the battlefield, in a small village, a young shepherd named David was tending his father's sheep. David was the youngest of 8 brothers. Small, quick, and full of heart, he loved music, played the harp, and often sang songs of praise to God while watching over his flock. One day, David's father called him. "Take this bread and cheese to your brothers at the battlefront," he said. So David packed the food and set out across the hills, not knowing that this simple errand would change his life forever. When he reached the battlefield, David saw the fear in the soldiers' eyes. He heard Goliath's booming voice echoing across the valley, mocking Israel and mocking God. David couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Who is this giant?" he asked, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" His brothers told him to be quiet, but David's courage only grew. Word spread through the camp, and soon King Saul called for him. When David stood before the king, Saul looked at him in disbelief. "You're only a boy," Saul said. "You can't fight a warrior like him." But David's voice was steady. "Your servant has fought lions and bears while protecting his father's sheep," he said. "The same God who saved me from them will save me from this Philistine." Saul hesitated, then nodded. "Go," he said softly, "and may the Lord be with you." Saul's soldiers brought out his armor, but when they put it on David, it hung off him like a curtain. David laughed kindly and took it off. "I can't wear this," he said. "It doesn't fit me." Instead, David walked down to a nearby stream. He knelt and picked up 5 smooth stones, placing them in his leather pouch. He carried only his sling, a simple shepherd's weapon, and his faith. When Goliath saw him approaching, he laughed. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he shouted. "Come here, and I'll feed you to the birds." But David didn't back down. He called out, "You come to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts. Today, the Lord will deliver you into my hands." The giant charged forward, his armor clanging like thunder. Dust rose beneath his feet. David ran to meet him. In one smooth motion, he reached into his pouch, placed a stone in his sling, and spun it through the air. The stone flew fast, striking Goliath square on the forehead. The giant froze, then fell forward with a crash that shook the ground. The valley went silent. The Philistines stared in disbelief. The mighty Goliath, the unstoppable warrior, was defeated by a shepherd boy with a sling and faith in God. For a moment, the world stood still. Then the Israelites erupted in cheers, charging forward to victory. David stood in awe, breathing heavily, looking toward the heavens. He knew this victory wasn't his alone. It belonged to God. When David returned to the camp, King Saul greeted him with amazement. And soon David became a hero, loved by the people, respected by the soldiers, and befriended by the king's own son, Jonathan. But through it all, David never forgot where his strength came from. He remained humble, singing songs of praise under the stars. The same shepherd heart, now guided by divine purpose. David's story reminds us that no matter how small we feel or how impossible the odds seem, faith can turn weakness into strength. God can use anyone, even a young shepherd boy, to do extraordinary things, because real courage doesn't come from size or strength. It comes from trust. And when we trust in God, even the biggest giants can fall.